Good morning, Nigeria. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. We apologize for starting behind schedule. Of course, the economy is hitting hard on even the technical equipment. It's hitting hard on everybody. But thank you. From here on, we promise it to be a smooth run to the best of our abilities. We have so many big stories, but before then, I am Olive Emodi.
And I'm Johansson. As Oliver said, a little technical hit here and there, but it feels good to be back on the air, especially to look at the biggest stories coming from Nigeria and how it affects you, your daily life, and most importantly, like they say, your plans, because every story has an impact on how you plan, how you also strategize, and most importantly, how you live your life on a daily. We'll be going straight to our top stories this morning, but first off, because we indeed didn't kick off on time, let's take you straight to the headlines and see what we'll be talking about today. Appeal Court affirms Abure as Labour Party National Chairman, and that is the story we'll be looking at.
Edo Assembly says Shaibu impeachment notice, not coming as a surprise. He already foresaw this and has been calling in the impeachment for a while.
Who is responsible for rising cost of food items? And that's one question we'll be looking at. The middleman or who?
And we head to the streets of social media to find out what Nigerians are saying.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll also be looking at the front pages of the newspapers to bring you some of the big stories and to get your reactions as well. These and more on Breakfast Central.
And let's start off Breakfast Central this morning by taking you to the drama that is unfolding in Edo State, where the Edo House of Assembly commenced impeachment proceedings against Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu after a petition against the Deputy Governor dated March 5 was signed by 21 out of the 24 members, more than the two-thirds requirement required in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria's Constitution. I'm talking about 1999 Constitution.
There have been reports claiming that Governor Godwin Obaseki may have convinced the Speaker, Edo State House of Assembly, Honorable Blessing Agbebaku, to begin impeachment proceedings against Shaibu. According to the Majority Leader, Charity Aiguo-Barueghian, the petition was based on two grounds, namely perjury and revealing of government secrets. The Deputy Governor, Mr. Shaibu, has 7 days to respond to the notice of impeachment. Very
deep and not surprising though, a story, especially looking at the fact that we saw it coming. The drama that's unfolding in Edo State politics is one that you need to watch carefully, possibly with a popcorn.
It would make for the big screen.
Oh yeah. Remember that the deputy governor initially had gone to the court to get an injunction restraining the governor from impeaching him. The moment he did that, remember the visitation to the event where he was barred from getting in with his entourage, and he was told, no, you can't come in. We also remember the incidents at the church where he had wanted to say hello to the governor, and the smirk, and of course the acceptance or the communication that the cameras were able to capture didn't look really good.
And there was also him being moved out of the government house.
That one came as well.
That became drama.
Yes, locked out.
Locked out. And the truth is, he had already said it. He'd been saying it for the longest time. Even during this primaries run where he had seemingly ran parallel elections. He had been saying it that he already knows they're going to try to impeach him. So I don't think this comes as a surprise. I feel like I don't know. I feel like he might be out of options, and I'm just going to wait and see. Well, with politics is like football. Never say never. You never can tell how things will turn out. So I don't know what cards is going to play next.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And looking at the fact that the primaries were just around the corner, Governor Obaseki has come out to say that he doesn't have a choice. He doesn't have a favorite candidate. Even though many have said that we do know your favorite candidate now. Of course, it's Asui Godalo. And then you did have Philip Shaibu say, listen, I need your blessings. So there's a lot of drama. Philip Shaibu had asked the governor, give me your blessings.
The only reason that Philip Shaibu wants the governor's blessings is because he feels like, based on the way that we run politics in Nigeria, if I
There
do
must
for
be a
you,
godfather.
you do for, no, not even godfather. If I do for you, you do for me, because it feels like
Yeah,
when it
never,
was
you never.
Obaseki's turn, he threw in everything he had to support him, campaign for him. So if I supported you when you were running for office, today you are now governor, why can't you support me back in return? So it's more of, I did you a favor. I threw in all my resources behind you when you were running. I expect you to do the same now that it's my turn. I think, I mean, Lucinda Obaseki might feel like you've been deputy governor for 8 years, step aside from governorship. But Philip Shaibu is like, no, you know, I wanted to, there's a particular brand that says, if you know be this, you know fit be this. I want to say, if you know be governor, you know fit be governor. So I've still said deputy governor, yes, but I need to be the governor. It's my turn now, you've done yours. So we really do run an it's my turn system of politics in Nigeria, where we feel like it's our birthright, it's our favor. And which is why I kind of liked what Peter Obi said when he was receiving an award a few nights ago. And he said that he's not desperate to be a Nigerian president. And I hope he means it. And I hope that all the leaders, all our Nigerian politicians can actually say, look, I'm not desperate to be Nigeria's president. I'm just desperate for a Nigeria that works for all of us. Because even when we talk about the merger of political parties on the larger scale, if we talk about the PDP, APC, and the Labour Party, the three big main parties, or the three main big parties coming together, or let's not say the three. If we say the two lead opposition, that would be the People's Democratic Party and the Labour Party coming together. The question will be, who will be willing to step aside to say, you be the official flag bearer? Because everybody wants to be the leader. Everybody feels it's my turn. Everybody feels like I'll do a better job.
PDP too. I agree. I agree. I mean, it was between Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar who was to be, you know, and then that's all.
Atiku got it. Peter left, went to Labour Party. So it's just, do these politicians really believe when they say they are not desperate? At the end of the day, holding office for a number of politicians is just a ticket for them to achieve the life they've always wanted. For some of them, it's not really about making impact. It's not really about doing anything. It's just to be able to say, I had a lifelong dream of one day being president, of one day being governor, and today I'm here.
The drama continues, by the way. From seeking a hand, a helping hand, a blessing from the outgoing governor. We do recall that Philip Shaibu as well did mention at some point that he wasn't going to run. If you remember, he said, nah, he's not going to. But then again, he said, listen, I'm going to run. And
right.
I need the consent. I need the support of the governor.
It is right as enshrined in the Constitution.
Yeah, he said it is right. But he didn't get that consent. However, the governor has reiterated his stance for not having his favorite candidate. But by the body language.
I was about to say that.
Exactly.
I mean, in the interview he granted when Aso Aiguo-Barueghian was being given the certificate of return, Governor Godwin Obaseki talked about how he can say without a shadow of doubt that Aso Aiguo-Barueghian is the only gubernatorial aspirant that went to all the local governments and spoke with all the, designates who were to, he had a one-on-one encounter with all of them, that he can say for a fact that he's the only contestant or aspirant that had done this. So, yes, he says he doesn't have a favorite, but it looks like the people in Edo State, if you speak to a number of people in Edo State, we've had Andrew Nwanta on the show who has consistently kicked against Aso Aiguo-Barueghian. And for some of them, it's not on the strength of Aso's character. It's more for the fear of it being an extended time in office for Obaseki. They're saying an Aso Aiguo-Barueghian governorship might be in an Obaseki's third term. So that's what some of them are saying, right? I mean, I can neither affirm nor deny. I don't live in Edo State, and I'm not allowed to, I can hold my own thoughts outside of here, but the truth is, we can't say for sure exactly what it is. Different people, depending on what position they lean more in favor of, different people will take different sides when it comes to the politics in Edo State. But at the end of the day, like we always say, it's not just about the politicians. Politicians must remember that whilst they must have had dreams to hold offices, to run for office, they must have had dreams to one day be governor or president or member of the House. Ultimately, what matters the most is leadership. And leadership, the key of leadership is putting the people in front, putting the people first. Our leaders must understand that. If they understood that, the Senate would probably not have reacted the way that they did when the power went out for 30 minutes in the National Assembly. They shouldn't have reacted that way because it was a clear revelation that the leaders are far disconnected from the people's reality. So we need to get to a point where politicians are running because they genuinely feel the concern of Nigerians. They genuinely feel like they want to, go there, represent people, cause a change, and not necessarily because they want to fulfill a lifelong dream. At the end of the day, political office is not your birthright. We don't owe you leadership. You have to earn our trust to be our leaders. And Edo State needs to prioritize governance over politics. Not just Edo State, all the other states in the country. Anyway, we, of course, would like to say that if you're in Edo State and you'd like to share with us what the current position is, when we open the phone lines, please feel free to call in and share your thoughts. Right? We'll be moving away from Edo State to talk about something else.
Absolutely.
Labour Party politics.
Absolutely. Labour Party is also in the news, and that story is one that everybody has finally said it's put to rest. The incessant comebacks from a factional leader and, of course, one who has been touted to be the chairman. So the appeal court yesterday affirmed Julius Abure as Labour Party chairman. So the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja ruled in favor of the embattled chairman, reinstated him as the national chairman of the Labour Party. After doing that, the appellate court on Wednesday overturned the judgment of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, which had, if you recall, previously prohibited Abure and two others from acting as national officers of the party. Delivering the lead judgment on Wednesday, Justice Haman Barka held that the High Court was wrong to have assumed jurisdiction on the matter and awarded 1 million naira in favor of the appellant. Lamido Apapa, the respondent, will no longer be addressed as Labour Party chairman nor engage in any form and manner as such. So that's and he's actually he has to cough out 1 million naira.
I don't even know that. I mean, you said the matter has been put to rest, but I don't know that the matter has been put to rest. Knowing the character and the person of Lamidi Apapa and how he has fought incessantly, like he's fought to retain his parallel leadership.
So are you suggesting that he may come back?
I don't know that it has been put to rest, but the court is the final arbiter. The court decides, and whatever the court decides should stand. This morning we're going to be joined by Labour Party chieftain in Lagos. We have Ife Salako joining us. Good morning, Ife Salako. It's a pleasure to have you with us. All right, we're going to quick break, and when we come back, we'll be bringing in Ife Salako, who's the Labour Party chieftain, to share with us his position as well as what the party feels now, seeing that Julius Abure has been declared as the official leader of the party. We'll be right back.
Before the break, we did talk about the embattled Labour Party chairman and the latest story surrounding that. Well, you do know that he has indeed been elevated or freed from all the drama coming from the other faction. Well, joining us this morning, let's go straight into the discussion, is Ife Salako. He's a Labour Party chieftain here in Lagos. Thank you so much for being here.
Hello, good morning. It's always nice to meet you guys.
It's good to have you here. So do we say congratulations?
Yeah, I mean, it's very much in line for a lot of us who believe in doing things the right way. So it's a congratulations for the Labour Party itself, because, I mean, the whole drama that has been happening, it doesn't speak well, it doesn't project the image of the party the way it's meant to be. Well, but with these judgments, we know that we're heading towards the right direction. So congratulations is in order.
All right. You said congratulations are in order. It simply means that from here going forward, the Labour Party will be able to focus on what's at hand. But prior to that, the chairman, that's Abure, has been in a lot of drama. We did see the police arrest him of recent. He came out and spoke after his release. And then you had the same Apapa who's been going around still stating that he's still part of the party and so on. How certain are we that with this court delivering this judgment, it's going to be fair? There will be no more drama that would come out of this? No,
we're not certain, because it's obvious that the Apapa faction is being led by the opposition party, the APC, and of course that's what it is. So because if you see, internal party issues are usually dealt with internally, right? Unless you have some material motives that you're trying to drive at. That's why you keep going from one court, jumping from one court to the other just to force what the people that you're trying to lead, they don't even want you, really. So, I mean, I don't think it's going to, I think they might still sponsor him or, get some money around for him to go to the Supreme Court or whatever. But, I mean, the appeal court is clear on this, and they've said that Abure is the rightful chairman of the party. And I think we can all just come together. If Papa really, really wants the best for Labour Party, then it should come around. Let's call this fire internally and let's move the party forward. Because I keep saying it, Labour Party right now is the only opposition party in Nigeria. And you can then, yes, I mean, that you I see the way you're
sorry, what did you say again?
I said the Labour Party is the only authentic opposition in Nigeria right now.
Why do you say that?
Of course, because what do we have in Nigeria? We've always had a two-party system in Nigeria. So it would either be the SDP or the NRC at some point in time. It would be the APC and the PDP at the other time. But then, for the first time, as you can see in the last election, there is a third force. And go and check the history of this two-party system. It has always been that the same people here are the same people here. The same practice here are the same practice here. Tell me one primary election that was conducted by APC that was not being, that was not laced with some sort of thuggery, fighting, killing. Same thing with PDP. Check out the Labour Party primary elections. Always free and fair. Yes.
Okay, so let's go back. I want to walk you back to something you said earlier.
Please.
You talked about Lamidi Apapa faction being sponsored by the APC. Do you have empirical evidence to support that?
Well, I mean, from all we can see. So let me take you on the very linear arrangement. Lamidi Apapa is aligned with Arabambi. Arabambi openly declares support for APC. Arabambi is, in working directly with Lamidi Apapa. And so it's a case of, something that is so obvious. So we know that if truly Lamidi Apapa is not in the, with the opposition, with the APC, then it should come to the party. It's not by force for you to be the chairman today. It's always turn by turn. Calm down, work with the party, grow the party, and let us see that you deserve to be the chairman. You will get there. It's not by force.
Okay. So talk to us about the strength of the Labour Party's unity. We've seen factions or maybe different breakups happening in different parts of the party around the country. What would you say of the strength of the Labour Party still being one united front, being that one united front that can stand against the current administration as possibly, like you said, the only legitimate opposition party?
Well, I mean, this is one of the way forward for the party because leadership is very key in whatever organization that you belong to. So when you get the leadership right, it's just like our country. I mean, the way Nigeria is today is because we've not gotten the leadership right. And once we set the leadership on the right path, other things will begin to, fall in place. It's like the Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and every other thing shall be added. That is what it is, really. So once we know that this whole drama of the leadership of the party is resolved, I know there are a lot of things going on internally, the planning of restructuring the party, from state to state, from local government to local government, even to the wards, the party is working internally to make sure that all of these structures are put in place and they are very, very efficient. And so that is where the party is right now. And once we cross this phase, we will know that, yes, we're ready. And of course, to face the opposition at any point in time.
Well, talking about facing the opposition, you do have a name that's about to carry the party's flag in Edo State. And we've started to see the oppositions and the drama play out, especially for the other parties. Let's talk about Olumide Apata for now. With this drama ongoing internally, do you think that the Labour Party stands a chance in Edo State?
Oh, internal problems of political parties has never really determined, the victory of a candidate. There will always be, at every point in time, there will always be the internal issues of the party. And of course, a lot of time, it comes out that at the end of the day, even this one that is happening, sometimes I just take the seat, the back seat and I watch all of this, and I say to myself that let Lamidi Papa continue to shout everywhere that he is Labour Party chairman. Let any other faction continue to shout that they are Labour Party people. They are only promoting the party the more. They cannot even, come out to promote the people that are sponsoring them. So it is fine. Let the drama continue. Let it, continue to put the party on the lips of the people. Let it continue to sell the party to the people. I'm a media person, and you know what it is. Good media, bad media. Sometimes it just puts you out there. It puts your name, it puts your brand out there, and people keep seeing you. People keep remembering that you are there, and that consistency at the long run will give room for what the desired goal is. And for Olumide Akpata, he has been absolutely consistent in, fighting for a better Nigeria, for making us, for, putting everything that he could to make sure that the country moves forward. So for him to get the ticket, for the governorship candidates at the Edo State election, it's a welcome, I know we are just going to slide to victory.
Does it not look like, does he have the favor? I don't have an idea. Okay, I do have some idea. But in Edo State, well, it feels like the majority of the conversation have been dominated by the fight between Aso Ighodalo, not the disagreement between Aso Ighodalo and Philip Shaibu. Maybe not directly. Of course, Godwin Obaseki being involved in the mix, and them talking about who the return certificate should have been given, who the certificate, the party, what's it called again? Who should be the official flag bearer for the party, right? The primaries. So do you think that Olumide Akpata has been involved in major conversations in Edo State, or has the PDP, in some way become like the party that has become the main subject of conversation?
So, His Excellency, Mr. Peter Obi said, it is not about being called Your Excellency. It is how, the process that matters. And you see, all of these things, all of these values are the things that we hold there in the Labour Party. I can tell you categorically, even from the explanation you just gave now, that there was no proper primary election in the PDP. It is obvious that it was just the person that Obaseki wanted that he, and we have seen this thing play out over and over again in the Nigerian politics. You discover that there is one governor sitting somewhere. For example, now, just to digress a bit, in Kogi State now, I don't even know who the governor is between Bello and Ododo. It goes to show how ridiculous these so-called mega parties are. You don't allow the proper process to take place. You just anoint one person, and then this person gets there. Again, let's say the drama between Wike and his successor. In River State, these people keep repeating the same mistake. And I'm going to say it straight. Well, where is my camera? So I can say, yes. I see, for the people of Edo State, if you really want a better Edo, you want a better state for yourself, avoid PDP. Avoid anything called APC. Because the process they are going through is the same process they've done before that has led to failure. And that's what they are still doing. Avoid them. Stay with Olumide Akpata. Stay with the Labour Party if you want a better state. Sorry. Just to add a nice thing on that, on the cake. Let's look at our own states that we are all proud of, the Abia State and the governor. It's no brainer. There is nobody controlling Alex Oti. No godfather anywhere asking him to bring some billions. Even the party, if he wants to support the party, it would be out of his own, will or benevolence, not to say that you must. And that is what is killing the Nigerian politics. We must be able to free politics from the hands of these godfathers.
How do we free, I mean, because it seems like this has been the norm, the unspoken norm for the longest time, where they try to call it different names, really, but at the end of the day, it's still what it is. It's still godfatherism. Somebody's saying, oh, I annoyed this person, or, oh, this is a better candidate. Sometimes they'll tell you, oh, they're just suggesting that they will not want to, they want someone to continue the good work they've done. So how possible is it for us to sort of remove ourselves from the shackles of godfatherism in Nigerian politics?
So it would be obvious to you that Peter Obi at some point will come out to support Olumide Akpata. But what is clear is that Peter Obi will not ask Olumide Akpata to return some billions of naira that belongs to Edo State to him. That's the difference. Everybody at some point in time would show their support for anybody. It is fine. If you believe in the person's ideology and you believe that this person is competent enough to, deliver on this mandate, you can show your support. But what they do is they have gone, first of all, they will go behind the doors to have their arrangements. Oh, you get there, oh, you do this for me, oh, this is the agreement too. And shamefully enough, when this person gets there, they will now come out and start saying it. Yeah, before you went there, I told you that you are going to do this for me. You are there now, you are there.
Are you in any way mimicking government?
I did not mention anybody's name. I did not mention anybody's name.
Okay, fine. Let's leave it at that. I think that's fine. That's fair enough. So we can categorically state that our conversation is centered on the Labour Party chairman, and we allow Nigerians to make their choices wherever they go to. Okay, fine. Another thing that's very critical that everybody is also talking about is the fact that Peter Obi recently did say that he's not struggling to be Nigeria's president.
No.
He's not desperate to be Nigeria's president.
He's not desperate and so on. And he has been giving some ideas on how the current administration can put things in order. We saw how Ukraine gave Nigeria grains and so on. And Peter Obi said that was pathetic. Of course, he got the support and the nod of some governors equally danced to the tune of a statement that they agree that that move was a wrong one. Nigeria ought to be feeding itself and not collecting food from, war-torn
that Niger State can power the country.
Of course, like Ukraine. With Peter Obi's session and his statements being made, is there any likelihood that in 2027, Labour Party would have a change in perception of who they think would run for president, since Peter Obi says he's not desperate? Well, would there be a sudden change? What if the so-called opposition you're talking about now says, Peter Obi, come, sit down, let's table this. You take the lead from here, from us.
So, three things. Number one is that Peter Obi has always said he's not desperate about becoming. He's desperate about having a better Nigeria. He has said that over time. Like, he's not desperate to be the president. He's desperate to have a better nation. And you see that desperation of having a better nation is very, very positive. It's a good thing to have. So whether you are there or not, as long as you see that if Nigeria gets better, then you can take the back seat and say, oh, yeah, the country is going through the right, towards the right direction, right? Up until last night, because we know ourselves, some of the strong APC guys, that are in my own circle that I know, literally all of them, they have actually, backslid from this present administration. Literally, one of them called, who spoke last time, was telling me that I regret. I'm not myself. I'm on TV saying.
Are you sure about that?
I am absolutely sure. These are the people somebody that we're close, we're friends. And he belongs to the other party, and he's an elderly. He's even older than me. When he was telling me to my face, you don't know what you're doing. Going to this party, what kind of party is this? You cannot do this, you cannot. Yesterday he said, maybe you are still in that Labour Party, stay there. We don't know what we are doing on this side. So it goes to show that we are still struggling to have the kind of nation that we really, really wanted. That's on one side. So Peter Obi's desperation is for a better Nigeria, not for he himself to become the president. But now let's take it to the next level. He is not the president. He is providing solutions to our problems. He suggested something about the forex issue. And before you know it, the following day, the government was dancing towards that.
But they said that it was what they wanted
Yeah,
to do.
we know. We know. The witch cried last night. The child died this morning. We know that it is, everybody knows that it is the witch that cried last night that killed the child this morning. But it's fine. They can always deny. But it is good that even the Niger State governor did rightly say that all the things that Peter Obi has been saying all this while is what we actually need. And if we have this man who has all these ideas, who knows how to actualize it, isn't that what the leadership, what the presidency should be about? Someone who knows, someone who can actualize these things. So, I mean, it is obvious that if we actually, I mean, for some of us who are really, really with Mr. Peter Obi, we have seen all of this thing. We have listened to him a couple of times. We have evaluated some of these ideas, and we know that it is the best for the nation. And that's why we're sticking to this man. And in the third part of, in 2027, maybe cross-carpeting to other party and all, it is going to be disappointing. If Peter Obi leaves Labour Party, right, what me, and I believe a lot of obedience will be asking him to do is to go and create his party. Not to now go back to all this evil that we have rejected already. It's not possible.
Okay.
Now, we will not follow him there.
You've talked about the strength of Peter Obi's leadership of the Labour Party. And obviously, it would seem that many of the members of the Labour Party firmly believe in Peter Obi's leadership. Let's come back now to talk about the national chairman and the strength of his leadership and how much the Labour Party believes in his leadership. It's one thing for the courts to say, Lamidi Apapa's faction is dissolved and we lawfully recognize Julius Abure. But to the politicians and the members of Labour Party, do they believe in Julius Abure?
Well, I mean, the reality is that Mr. Barrister Julius Abure had a lot of issues and so many baggages around his name. And, you know, for the state at which he is now, there are some people in the party that would not be happy, you know, with him and what he's doing. But what we believe in the Labour Party, and which has played out over time and we've seen, is we believe fully in the rule of law. So if the court says this is your chairman, we can only then come back around and look at his strengths and weaknesses and see where we can support, where we can come in to make things work and for the party to grow together. So a lot of people, I mean, there will always be grievances here and there, you know, it is internal party, we would all get over it. But the major thing is that the court has pronounced him as the chairman, and we all are going to work with him to make sure the party gets to, you know, the desired destination. All right.
You wouldn't be here, and we'll let you go without answering this last question. It's actually a question that came from X, formerly known as Twitter. Okay. I'm sure you've been there on that space. You see what's playing out concerning Labour Party. You've not been there? I'm sure you know where I'm going, right? Okay, so let me explain where I'm going to. So, 48 hours ago, there are stories of some staunch Labour Party supporters who were being paid. you know this. Who were being paid. And receipts are churning out on social media that this person whom we thought was a staunch supporter was paid XYZ, and there were charts where they were saying, okay, you know, pay this. Now, coincidentally, you do have Akpata who's running for Edo State governorship. You do have some of the supporters who are now turning the other side to support the opposition party in Edo State, therefore enhancing the truth and making it look very beautiful that they are not truly LP supporters. It's everywhere. The social media space is agog with, oh, everybody's there for the money. What is Labour Party doing about it? Especially you as a chieftain and other chieftains? What are you people doing about this? Looking at the caliber of people whom you've had in a long while and what's happening now?
Well, so it is actually, it is foolhardy to think that all the influencers all of them, that none of them was paid to work, either directly or indirectly for either the presidential candidate at the time or the party itself. It just doesn't make sense. It's nonsensical to think that nobody, all the obedience, nobody was paid to do something, because, I mean, it is the media. It is expensive. The things that these guys do, the way they go about it, so some of them were paid, yes. But the reality of it is that and I'm sure that this is what the APC especially and the PDP are dancing to, like, oh, finally we are all evil, because they believe that, that's the only way they understand. Anyway, they don't understand the organic support, right? The kind of organic support that Mr. Peter Obi got, right? They can never afford it. They can never get it. So with this little drama that is happening now, they are really, really agog over it, like, yeah. But it doesn't just make sense to think that some of these guys were not actually paid for some of the things they did. So that's what I think about that. But coming to the part where, Yusuf, the guy, leading the Asui's narrative, one of the things I was thinking of is that, does he really believe in the PDP structure? Just like I mentioned earlier, does he really believe that, this same evil that we're trying to avoid is going to just go away, with Asue? But that aside, the crux of the whole narrative is that Asue is from Edo South. I think it's from Edo South, and that region of Edo State had not produced the governor before. In fact, I don't think they've even had a senator that is really, really from that region of the state. So that is the crux of the thing. But here we are. It is the same Emiloko politics now. Yusuf, it's the same Emiloko politics. The same thing that Nigerians did in just about how many months ago, and we are all feeling the brunt. This same Tinubu had, everybody singing his praises, even if we that were in Lagos, we don't understand, because they said he built Lagos, and in his 9 years, 1999 to 2007, I cannot point to one major road that he built in this Lagos. I cannot point to one bridge, not even pedestrian bridge, that this man built in Lagos. And they just, painted him as...
Is it only about bridge? Because Nyesom Wike built a lot of bridges, and people complain that...
Nyesom Wike is better than Tinubu.
Huh?
Nyesom Wike is better as a governor than President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a governor. What are we saying?
What are your indices? How do you...
The indices are there. We can see all these infrastructures that Nyesom Wike built for River State. Even if, for me, it was, the whole political jamboree during the end of his term, But he did a lot more, if we have to start counting one after the other, than Bola Ahmed Tinubu did for Lagos State in 8 years. So what are we saying? So when you come out to say, oh yeah, it is this person's turn because this person, and we have seen this thing being done before, and it does not lead us anywhere.
Right.
You, this same Yusuf, you are a card-carrying member. You registered as a Labour Party member. What you are doing now is not different from what Apapa is doing. It's not different from what Arabambi is doing, and a couple of other people who are doing anti-party politics. So it is, if you have a personal interest, and I just wondered, I even wanted to ask you, so if I had the opportunity to meet him one-on-one, my question to him is that, even if you want to support this man, do you in your mind think that the core of the obedience of the Labour Party will leave LP and Peter Obi and follow you to follow? It's impossible. Absolutely impossible.
Well, I think we've been able to milk this conversation, at least to a certain point and a certain degree. I want to thank you so much, Mr. Salako, for being here.
And just on a final note, as regards that issue, you see, out of the 12 disciples of Jesus, one of them went astray. You understand? But that did not stop the gospel of Jesus till today.
So that's much more like a prophecy.
That's a drop mic
That's
moment
fulfilled.
there.
Yeah,
Drops mic.
exactly like, we're done.
Professor Alako, thank you very much for joining us. We wish you all the best. We wish the Labour Party all the best.
Thank you so
And
much.
we hope that for Nigeria's leadership, for Edo State's leadership, that the best man truly wins.
Absolutely.
All right?
Mr. Olumide.
Time will tell. Time will tell. This is still, of course, Breakfast Central, and if you're just tuning in, not to worry, we'll be heading to our newspaper reviews shortly. And if you'd like to react to some of the things we've talked about, we'll be opening the phone lines then and affording you the opportunity to call and share your thoughts with us. We'll be right back.
Thanks for staying with us here on Breakfast Central. Let's go straight to the front pages of the papers, and we would like to let you in on this information that you can call in to be part of the front pages as we take a look at what stories are making the headlines this morning. We do have our guest who joins us. We do have Chris Kaden Wendu is here. That's publisher CKN News. Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes,
Good morning.
Yes. I'm sure you've been feeling the heat, especially with what's going on currently in the country. But before you speak on any of them, let's bring the very first paper to you. And our first paper is this Nigeria. Buhari's 8 years of printing money causing hyperinflation. Finance Minister Edu, printing of naira in trillions was just carried out without matching it with productivity. But I have a big question on this headline.
What is the question?
And I'd like to go straight to our guest. I'd like him to give us an answer. So why is Buhari not called?
Good question, good question, and that's just it.
Because all fingers are pointing to him.
But you know, they will not call him. They will not call him. Because this same government, during the campaign, current president said he will continue on the good work of the former president. So on that premise, that I'm sure some people that like Buhari or who are Buhari fans or followers must have voted for him. So a lot is being said, and I've said it time and time again. This is not blame time. This is not blame time. Before you take, I always say time and time again that when you buy up a company, you buy both the assets and the liability. You don't just come and buy assets. What of the liability? This man, the president told us that he is prepared for the job. So, and he knows that there will be challenges. So I think these rhetorics are just neither here nor there. I think they just focus on what they are saying. Say Buhari printed so much money and the rest of them. This was the same Buhari that said he wanted to change the notes, naira notes, so as to mop up a lot of naira notes within the system. And I know that this current president was vehemently against it. He said it was targeted at him. You know, during the campaign, he said it was targeted at him and he was against the new naira policy. Although during the statement, the CBN and Nigerian president said that they don't want so much money in the hands of politicians and the rest of them. But his current president said, so, but that is not the cause of the problem we're having now. I have said it that what we're just doing is just what we call, you know, Obioma. You know those we call those guys that you know those guys, those tailor, those ones that carry this hair. They call them Obioma, cut and sew. What we are doing now is just cut and sew. I think we should be able to focus. We have people that can do this job, and I continue referring back to 1999, where we were. We were worse than this when the military was handing over. But President Olusegun Obasanjo was able to take out of the box, got people that were not politicians, got them into the economic thing. That's how you got Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala and the rest of them. And they came and helped the system. What we have now are not technocrats, but more politicians that were picked by the president to be his ministers and the aides. And they seem not to know their left from their right. For me, that is the focus. We're talking of forests. They say initially sometime in the past, they say it was Aboki effects. Now they say it was the BDCs. From the BDCs, I don't know, where are they now?
Cryptocurrency.
Cryptocurrency. You see, cryptocurrency. More Ali came out yesterday, 2 days ago, to say it's not cryptocurrency. Deal with the banks, and you get this. More Ali was the former deputy governor of the Central Bank, so he should know better. So those are, for me, are not, this one calling Buhari. Yes, I still maintain that Buhari is the worst. He's the worst president we had since 1960. I still maintain that stand. But that notwithstanding, the fact is that if I've agreed to take up a job, when you are being interviewed for a job, they say, these are our problem, these are the issues. Are you ready to come? And you say yes. And you must bring something to play. That is why you are picked, so that you can effect that change. There has been so many companies going down in the past now. They pick up new CEOs, and before you know it, they're back. Do you understand? So the president and his economic team should just focus on the issues and say, but it's because of Buhari, is that why people are not eating? Is that why we don't have food on our tables? Is that why a bottle of mineral or whatever you call it is about 300, 350 naira now?
That's what they tell you. They tell you that at the end of the day, they inherited an economy in shambles. And I can totally understand and empathize with your perspective, because you cannot categorically say that it is entirely the fault of the previous administration, especially because, one, both of you are the same party. During the course of campaign, you said you were going to continue the legacies of President Buhari. So what exactly are you saying? And is it possible for you to really go to this job and not know what it was? You live in Nigeria.
You know, we are going through the same trajectory. That was how in 2015 how Buhari started. The APC, they were blaming every problem was 8 years PDP.
Yeah.
APC have been in government for 9 years now. So what are we talking about? So is it not the same party? Remember that time there was no power. Is it the same? Now people don't have power.
We're getting into 8 years of APC as well now.
Getting into it. We've gone beyond 8 years.
We've done 8 years.
Those ones have done years. This is 9 years now.
Most likely 8 years of Tinubu.
Yes, this is the beginning of the 4 years or 8 years of Tinubu. And you add that together, it makes 16 years of APC.
So 16.
16, so it don't balance now.
That means.
So now you ask yourself, how much was the dollar in 2015 when APC took over? How much the cost of food when APC took over in 2015?
Let's go back and look at the front page of this Nigerian newspaper. Yeah. I'm sure there are more stories you can take.
Another one says, federal government pays tribute to late banking titan Herbert Wigwe family. It's been 3 days of tribute, and if you follow suit, it's very, very touchy. 40 feared killed as militia gangs clash in Benue. NAS to meet Tinubu over security challenges. A big one. Cattle roaming will end in Abuja, Wike vows. I was in Abuja in the 2nd of January in particular, and I saw a lot of cattle roaming everywhere, and I was like, okay. I do recall there was a back and forth argument on this cattle issue during the time of President Muhammadu Buhari, and now Wike says there will be no more cattle. That's what he says. Not like I said though, but kind of like. Rail mass transit, 95% complete, ready in May. I like the timelines that are being given to all of these infrastructural developments. Let's see if they would come to fruition. Edo Assembly serves Shaibu impeachment notice. Your thoughts on that story?
Well, I saw it coming.
Yes.
Before he said it.
Even he saw it coming.
I mean, we talked about it.
Yes. I saw this coming.
The picture.
Yes. I'm sure you must have painted the picture in various, most of your engagement. We saw it coming. He also saw it coming. And as far as I'm concerned, immediately that issue broke, where the governor seems not to be in the same boat, or in the same, is not in tandem with deputy. I knew that something must give. We cannot have two ships in one boat. The governor calls the shots. All the governors have the House of Assembly in their pockets. The determined who becomes a legislator in the states. So even at the National Assembly, the governors, that's why the governors are very, very powerful. Yes, you can say the president, but when it comes to governors, what those guys do, you cannot just panther me. So Shaibu saw this governor. He was thrown out of the government house and given a whether 4-bedroom or 3-bedroom apartment somewhere in town as his office, not published. They met in church. He refused to say anything. And you saw the last one, where at an event, the guy is just, that kind of thing, just luxury. So, and so it's so obvious that you knew what was coming. And the last act was what happened during the primaries in Edo State, during the PDP primary. And it was obvious that the governor has made up his mind who wants to hand over to. That's if PDP wins. And Shaibu also went to have his own primary somewhere and ended up going to Abuja to go and collect a certificate that was not. So all these, and from what I heard, about 22 of the 24 House of Assembly members I'll be able to sign petition, and they're on it. There are procedures for impeachment, and that has been established in the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. So whether they'll be able to see that through is what's left to be done. But normally what they come up with, gross, what's that name they call?
Gross misconduct?
Gross misconduct,
Anything.
perjury.
They say
the main thing is gross misconduct. And anything.
They said it was divulging government.
If anything can come under that gross misconduct, you'll be given time to answer some of the queries.
7 days. They gave him 7
So
days.
those are procedures.
Would you say that the way that Shaibu has played his politics, that he's played a fair hand for himself, do you think that he was strategic? Because politics is like a game of chess. Do you think that he's played a good game? And does it look like he's out of cards? Is this checkmate for him?
Me, I'm not a politician, I'm a journalist. But if you ask me, I will say that he played more of a kindergarten politics. That is obvious. Yes, you know, you don't expend all your arsenals in one sweep as a general, okay? You drop some and you do some. And this was somebody that was, it's so unfortunate that this happened because this was somebody that backed Obaseki through and through during his fight.
Which is why he feels entitled to be backed by
But that does not
Obaseki.
make him entitled. But I can say it categorically that he is entitled to be the governor of Edo State, irrespective of whether he was a deputy. Every Nigerian, everybody from Edo State qualifies to be a governor. Once you meet the criteria that has been set up by the Constitution, your social, your age, your education qualification, and the rest of them. So Shaibu, in his right, within his fundamental human rights, had the right to be able to do. But how he went about it was something I had to quarrel about.
All right, let's move away from this Nigerian newspaper to the next paper and see what top stories we can take this morning. On the Vanguard, Thierry Sanusi, I thought I would die before Wigwe. Of course, the tributes have been coming in for late Guinea, so I take that. Wigwe. Late Herbert Wigwe, I really take that back, please. I thought I would die before Wigwe. Tributes have been coming in for the late Herbert Wigwe, for his son, you know, and for his wife. It's been such a tough time. Corporate Nigeria was really hit hard by his passing, and everyone has shared their thoughts and their condolences, and prayers are up for his surviving family members. Bloodbath in Benue, 50 killed as militia gangs go to war. Edo gubernatorial elections, Shaibu served impeachment notice as Oshiomhole denies involvement. NLC TUC issued 7-day ultimatum to Soludo over workers' welfare. We are determined to consolidate our 2023 superior performance, and that's by MPA, says implementation of performance improvement measures key. Effective implementation of extant laws makes expatriate levy needless. I think that's the majority of the stories. Okay, Tinubu has clear strategy to reform economy, says Bagudu. Do you believe this?
I thought we discussed that. It's almost as what we just discussed in the past. Yes, it may have a clear strategy to return Nigeria economy, but the fact is that Nigerians are not patient.
Right.
We don't have all the patience. We don't need to wait all the work. They say it will get worse before it gets better. But we don't have to die before it to get better.
The worst is already, the worst is worse.
If there's anything worse than what we are now, I don't know what it is. It's like, it's not, that means it's a journey to hell that is remaining.
Okay.
So I don't think that, let us, I will always continue to say that, let us support the government. Because when you say government, who is government? There are only some people representatives, some people, but every one of us are government. But we have chosen certain people to lead us, and they should be able to deliver. Okay. And you will be judged by what you did. You can only be judged by what you did. If out of 230 million Nigerians, they decide there's one person, we have chosen one person to be able to lead us to the promised land, take us from Egypt to the promised land. We don't need to wait for 40 years and 70 years, as it were, to be able to get to that promised land.
All right, let's take one more story on that front page. Federal government threatens to revoke licenses, to revoke discos licenses over poor power supply.
Where?
First of all, what's your reality with power supply in your area?
In the same Lagos now. I'm sure mine is not different from yours.
I don't know.
It could be better.
I live in Lagos, so but I don't want to make assumptions because my power supply is epileptic, but it's improved. I mean, this morning when I was leaving my house, which was a miracle. It hasn't happened in the longest time that I wake up and there's light, it's not generator.
Yeah, previously for about 2 weeks, it was that bad, terribly bad. That at a point, I don't think I was having more than an hour electricity. And I would say I live relatively in a place that you think that you have so much that. But when you compare that to what we are generating and what we are distributing, just about 5,000 megawatts for about 200 million Nigerians is neither here nor there. So if the government said they are going to revoke we also have to be careful, because the agreement was reached. There were an agreement that was reached. You have to look at that contract so that we don't get ourselves into the PID and matter that we got into. Because if it's an agreement, you have to see it through. They have to look at the clause. But we made a mistake. We dropped the ball when we started. When they started issuing out those licenses, we were not able to do due diligence on those companies.
Right.
Some of them don't have the capacity. They don't have the technical know-how. All they have to do just brought money or look for money, went to some banks to collect money, and they bought over. I think that was during the Goodluck Jonathan's day. Now they've not. Some of them have not added. Even the ones that have been given, that has been generated, they cannot transmit. That is the issue. Because at the point of last week, we were hearing that they were not able to pick up about some, I don't know, about 1,000 megahertz or whatever today. The problem is threefold. You know, we have generation, we have transmission, then we have distribution. Yeah. Generation, most often than not, they generate, probably about 5,000. But the fact is that the transmission line cannot be able to transmit probably more than 4,000. So you see that we have about 1,000 wastages. Yeah. And they give it to the discos that we have taken it, but we'll come to realize that about 20-30% of what are given to them are being stolen by consumers who don't have meters. And you ask me, is it my problem that you are not metering people? Because the only way you can be able to get your money back is not through your estimated. And they're making so much, they're making a key through that estimated billions. And that is why some of them shy away from metering. And it's a bet. I wanted a meter. And I was at Ikeja Electric. I'm this specific now. I was at Ikeja Electric just 2 days ago that I need a meter. And they told me there's no meter.
Wow.
Yes.
All right.
At their headquarters.
Okay. We have Joe's namesake calling from Lagos. Good morning, Jonathan. Thank you very much for calling. Please go ahead.
Good morning. Thank you so very much. Thank you for what you're saying. I agree with your position. If they should withdraw the license of any disco, I think they should start with Ikeja Electric. That people, they've been fraud. They've been fraud. How can you stay for a whole day? You bring the light at 3 a.m. in the morning and take the light 3:30 in the morning. I have spent, this month alone, I've spent over 20,000 naira buying fuel. How much is my salary? That is close to the average minimum wage. The month is just starting. I've spent 20,000 already. So what is happening? We have sent messages, written letters to Ikeja Electric. They don't respond. They don't care about their customers. And I'm asking, what is the Nigeria Electric Regulatory Commission doing about Ikeja Electric? I live in Lagos, so I'm concerned about Ikeja Electric. What are they doing about Ikeja? I think they need to call the MD for a meeting, for a town hall meeting, where everybody will go to ask her questions, where she can give us on-the-spot answers. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wow.
Yeah. So
you know, the reality.
What he said is the basic reality.
Let me share my experience. I think we still have a few more minutes to go. Yesterday, I wanted to get a fuel for the car. So I said, you know what? Because I always buy at a particular filling station. I said, maybe their fuel isn't that good. Let me go and try another one. So I went to Ikoyi. I was heading to, of course, the NNPC filling station. I saw the queue. I said, no, let me try the other one, which I have bought before in times past, and their fuel was very good. Lo and behold, the money I would buy to fill my tank, at least, it didn't even get to half.
That's it.
I had to park, and I felt shivers run down my spine. What error did I make in this economy to try this at this time? Yeah. It didn't even get to half. Yeah. So when you look at what you're going to spend at the end of the month, I'm getting for the house today, so I have my keg in the car. So it's something that's really, really worth talking about. And when the minister says he's going to revoke licenses, let's hope that would be true, and that will possibly change the situation.
Whilst I'm all for sanctions being implemented, because to be honest, it's biting hard. I don't think anything has annoyed me in Nigeria as much as power, especially in the past 2 weeks. Many things have annoyed me, but power has annoyed me the most. I always used to say that food and power, like sometimes I would rather starve myself, but you see that heat, I don't want to deal with it, right? So My concern is if once we implement this, when we implement these sanctions, the remaining discos, do they have the capacity to be able to serve the country?
Well,
Would that not throw us into further darkness?
yeah, you know, my main concern is not for now, it's not even this group. As I've said earlier on, they don't have the capacity to deliver. That is basic. And I knew that some time ago that the federal government was trying to bring in cement to be able to
But
German company to waste it. Yeah, you know,
Buhari's administration, they signed the agreement.
Let me even give you a shocker. Remember that part of what led to the death, quote and unquote, of the former chief of staff to Buhari, Abakari. I think that's his name is Abakari?
Yes.
I think
yes.
it was.
Correct.
Because when he went to Germany to sign the cement, he contracted COVID there, came back and died.
Yes.
They say he was practically dead. That was the last we heard of. The next thing we say, oh, cement, they are having an issue. The president went to Germany, and I know that he also had some meeting with him. So why don't we ask ourselves, what has been the outcome of that meeting?
And the press release.
And the press release was issued on that. Yes, now it was. The press release was issued.
The
same. So that is it. So when the minister say, "Oh, I'm going to withdraw the," when you do that, what is alternative? What are the alternatives?
Okay.
And who are the alternatives?
Very important question.
Very, very important.
Very important. Let's move away from that paper to the next paper and see what the front page of our third paper for this morning is. The Punch newspaper. 24 states can't pay salaries without federal government allocation, according to the budgets. 24 states to pay 1.48 trillion salaries in 2024, but generates 914 billion naira internally generated revenue. Governors advised to boost IGR. Ondo, Yobe, Sokoto, Plateau, Niger, Nasarawa, Adamawa, Cross River, Delta, Abia, others afflicted. We also have here minimum wage, labor shades, slashes demand to 500,000. Okay. Okay, it's coming down.
It's from 1 million.
Yeah,
Can they really
that's
do
a lot.
500,000? And then I'd like to work in the government.
Interesting. Groups comb bushes for 101 abducted women, IDP homes burnt. Oh,
That story
so sad.
It's sad. Yesterday was actually everywhere as well.
very sad.
Very sad.
Federal government foreign scholarship beneficiaries lament unpaid 8 months stipends. Yes, that's another story to talk about. 30 killed in Benue fresh attack. Senate to meet Tinubu. Blackout. Federal government threatens to revoke discos licenses. CBN printing of 22 trillion naira under Buhari fueled inflation. There are too many stories I want you to react to.
Okay.
But I'll just highlight them. We'll talk about the minimum wage and whether it's a decent ask. We'll talk about foreign scholarship beneficiaries lamenting the unpaid 8 months. And finally, 30 killed in Benue fresh attacks. Because I don't want us to get too comfortable with the fact that, because that's what I see happening. We get desensitized when we hear killings. It's starting to feel very normal. So let's talk about the 30 killed in Benue fresh attack. Senate to meet Tinubu.
On security.
Exactly. Let's talk on security and talk about the fact that it seems that the conversation about hunger has pushed security in a way to the back burner. Do you agree?
Yes, I do. I do. And we are having a lot of killings going around the country presently. In one of the stories, I think it has to do with the Benue ones. A family of 7 were wiped out. Family of 7, they were all wiped out in one sweep. You can imagine what that means if a family of 7 were wiped out. Then there have been serious killings going on, and nobody seems to be doing anything about it. Now we move to Borno State, where about 300 women, yesterday, the WHO came down and said that it's about 200 were abducted. And what were they looking for? These were people that left their villages because they were being attacked and being killed. They moved to an ID camp. Then getting to the ID camp, probably they couldn't eat, there isn't much to eat, or they went into the bush to look for firewood, and they were kept, all of them were moved and they're picked. Now, they are now asking for ransom for people who don't even have food to eat. Who is going to pay the ransom? The state government, I guess, or who is going to, or what's going to be? You can rest assured that out of the so-called 200, that's quote unquote, some will never come back again. It happened during the Chibok, period. Some of those kids that were picked till now, over 10 years, nobody has seen them. And that is how we continue. And we talk, so it's a mirage of problem. If hunger doesn't kill you in Nigeria, this security problem might kill you. There have been instances where people you can't even move from this road from this express close to us here and go to Benin, believing that you go and come back by road without being attacked. Then it gets worse when you start moving to other parts of the country. And it's happening on a daily basis. And we said it. The issue of security has to be treated. It has, and somebody came a few days ago to say, oh, within the government, that security has improved in Nigeria.
And I'm glad that you paint a picture of what the security situation is, because I feel that sometimes we forget. Sometimes we become desensitized to what the insecurity challenges are. I mean, of course, because we're looking at hunger, we're battling hunger. And some cases, you know, there's an Igbo adage I like to quote. It means that when it happens to someone else, it's like it's happening to you.
Yeah, just as
so it's only when it hits close that you then see them, oh, we're calling for this minister to appear before before the National Assembly. That's when you start to see action being made, being put in place. But I don't know. Nigerians want to start seeing that the government has actually put measures in place to ensure that we can secure Nigerians. We don't feel safe.
Yeah, the annoying part is that you see the National Assembly is going to summon the chief of the service chiefs. At the end of it, what happens? The president has summoned the service chiefs several times. What happened at the end of it all? There's nothing. We just talk. They are just going there to waste their time and waste our time.
We'll come back to insecurity shortly, but let's talk about labor and the 500,000 minimum wage. Yeah. It's come down from 1 million.
No, but I like the way you put it. I like the way Punch put it, because Punch talking about reduction from 1 million to 500. Then under the main says 24 states cannot pay. You know what they cannot pay? 30,000. No, not 30,000 naira. 30,000 naira. They cannot pay. Most of the minimum wage is 30,000 naira.
It's being realistic.
Realistic? I thought he just said that. So all of us will leave the work. We will do now. We start looking for work.
500.
It's not even possible. It's not possible. We are not just being realistic. The fact remains that until the states itself start looking for ways of generating income within their own states. But I'm so surprised by some states. What I'm seeing here, you're saying Cross River, Delta, and Delta, at least those two states. For goodness sake, those are some of the states that are getting some of the highest FAC. Delta State, because of their Delta Cross River, because they are oil producing. Because oil producing this. You cannot, if you tell me about Yobe and Niger and the rest of them, yes, it's quite understandable. Osun, yes. But a state like Cross River and Delta, I think it's the highest, if not the second. Highest. I think it's the highest. So how come that Delta cannot be able to pay a salary without? It's unbelievable. But that means that our leaders are also not being innovative at all. And I say it time with that number. What some of them just do is just go cap in hand.
Exactly.
Go cap in hand and just send their commissioners to go to Abuja, collect it, come back. And most annoying practice, they don't just collect it, they convert it to dollars and we house it.
Okay, final story as quickly as possible.
Which is?
The one of foreign students decrying the government not having paid their fees for the 8 months. And we've seen this happen many times. People who get scholarships from here, they go abroad. I know someone who couldn't complete her program and had to come back, unfortunately.
Well, they're the privileged few. They're the privileged few. If you want to school in UK now, your proof of fund is 50 million naira. Yes, I'm saying it on national TV. That I know. Your proof of fund is 50 million naira to run a program, a master program or first degree program in UK. 50 million proof of fund with your fees. How many people can afford that? So most often than not, and you come to realize, with all due respect, some of these people that get this scholarship, they got it through government, people that, if you apply for such scholarship, an ordinary person like us will not get it. So I think an agreement as an agreement, just as we used to say, agreement. If we have an agreement to send these people, then we have so much problem with those amnesty programs then that some of them have to be sent back. If we cannot continue with the issue of scholarship, look for schools here and just send them to the schools.
Don't even give anybody.
Don't give anybody. Look for schools here. There are schools here.
As simple as
and that is as simple as that.
And it could also be that could be the death of our education.
That is it. That's the death when you continue sending people like this.
For these scholarships, they cannot be accounted.
There are schools here that can give you the same quality of education. So send them here and just pay scholarship in naira. Chicken now.
That's it. Solution found. And you got the solution here on Breakfast Central. Yeah, of course, courtesy of CK.
Thank you so much
for being here.
Thank you very much for having me.
We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll see what Nigerians are saying, how you're reacting to some of the stories. The governor gave out 24 Jeep
Don't
Brand
mean
new.
it.
Yes, brand new,
You
and
don't
there's hunger in the
believe-
land.
I don't believe
We'll,
it.
we'll talk about that. All right, so just like we teased earlier on what Nigerians are saying concerning a particular story, let's tell you about that story. Well, as Nigerians like yourself continue to lament the tough economic woes, the governor of Kebbi State, Nasir Idris, recently distributed 24 Toyota Jeeps to Kebbi State House of Assembly members, fulfilling a promise made on March 6, expressing gratitude for their dedication. He personally presented the vehicles at the government house in Burning Kebbi, emphasizing the harmonious relationship between the executive arm and the assembly. Now, the kind gesture reflects the governor's commitment to collaboration and progress in Kebbi State. So, in case you do not know this, Kebbi is one of the states that are saying that they cannot pay the minimum wage of 35,000 naira, but yet the governor is giving out Jeeps. How are you reacting to this? Let's go straight to see how Nigerians are reacting to this story. The Oasis system says they will drive the car to receive grains from Ukraine. I'm sure you understand what it means. The current situation that has seen Ukraine give Nigerians grains to eat. In other words, there's hunger, but now we're buying cars. What's the priority? Let's take a look at another tweet very quickly. MC James says, let this be a symbol. He's a bit sarcastic here, so you would smell sarcasm in this tweet. So pay attention. He says, let this be a symbol of our commitment to serving the lawmakers of the state diligently, not the people of the state. So quoting from what was said, especially while the cars were being given, let this be a symbol of commitment. He highlights one key point, not the people of the state, but of course the lawmakers in caps, meaning that it's showing what's more important, especially during this time. Let's take another tweet very quickly. Haruna says, misplaced priorities. Those who voted for you are hungry, but your attention is on emirs, spending billion naira on luxury SUV for them. Nigeria is one country, but two nations exist in it. Think about that. One country, two nations existed in it. Quite astonishing. Let's take one more before we go straight to our next story. And this one, Johnson says, in these hard times when most citizens are hungry daily, yes, they're hungry daily due to lack of food, you are buying exotic SUVs to lawmakers while your citizens are busy looting foodstuff due to hardship. Honestly, you have done bad, Mr. Governor. And that's what everyone is saying. That's what Nigerians are saying. And that's exactly how they are responding to this story of the purchase, new cars being given indeed to a few while the many go hungry. Let's go to another one that's trending. This time, Edo State. The Edo State House of Assembly issued an impeachment notice to Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu, as announced on the Nigerian Twitter space. Now, the Speaker, that's Blessing Agbebaku, instructed the clerk to deliver the notice, providing the Deputy Governor with a 7-day window to respond. Now, 21 out of 24 members did sign it. But what does this mean? And why is it that the drama has been playing out so quickly? You do recall that early this morning here on Breakfast Central, we touched on it. And then, of course, we also spoke on it on the front pages. But how are you reacting to it? Let's go straight to the tweets and see what you were saying concerning this story. Again, let's see. This one says, even as he failed the governorship primaries, una no de pity person. Anyway, let's go to another one very quickly. This one says, until we realize these people care only about what they get and when they get it. Full stop. The how and why does not matter to them. From MCJB_Como. He's talking about what is indeed transpiring in Edo State. Zell Media Studio says, what a big joke, a big one. How many months left to leave office? Nigeria is just a big joke. Do you think it is too? Well, that's what they think. That's what he thinks as well. And one last tweet concerning this story. Why so much hatred between governor and his deputy in Nigeria? Too common. In other words, why is it too common? Let's take this last one. All these people will enter government and be busy arguing instead of working for the state. And this tweet here had a lot of responses, and the responses actually had to be in support of what he said. I'm talking about King Harry 2108. The reason is because if you take note, in the past few months, it's been back and forth in Edo State between the governor and his deputy. And many have called in to say, listen, we have roads that need to be fixed. We have things that need to be done. And these things are not being attended to. Rather, there's in-house or internal party politics, which has indeed affected performance. And we've seen exactly what it has done. So he has 7 days. When do you think Philip Shaibu, the Deputy Governor of Edo State, will respond? We'll be waiting to see what your reactions would be. Should he respond? Don't forget, he also went ahead to collect his certificate of return, believing that he won the primaries that was set up somewhere parallel, of course, one that was carried out far away from the other one that actually produced Sue as the primary person, the person who would indeed represent the PDP for the Edo State governorship elections. But that's all that you've said. Now, this is where we'll take the story to, as we call it, a day. But before then, Olive, we've seen all of these reactions back and forth. We've seen Nigerians talked off. We've seen a lot of things going on that. We did talk about this Edo State politics and our expectations, no doubt. But then again, let's look at the key one, the one that we also talked about earlier, buying cars in a state that is hungry. It's mind-boggling. Buying cars. What's your thought?
I want to hope that there's some alternative explanation, that they can come out and tell us it's a lie.
He said it. He said what the reason why he bought cars, I mean, one of the tweets there even explained that the lawmakers, you know, his commitment to them, not the people.
But you know what? This is just a repeat incident with what we saw at the national level, right? When we saw that they had budget for luxury cars. And Nigerians made a lot of noise, and they talked about, you know, the need to have these cars because of our roads. Again, I would say that if we were to take away the luxuries surrounding these political appointments and these political positions, a number of them will not run for office. To check the underlying motive, make it as not as attractive as it currently is. Remove all this maybe not unnecessary, but remove all the luxuries surrounding it and see who would really still go there to serve. It is when you find the person who goes to serve, regardless of the fact that all these luxuries have been taken away, then you know who a real leader is. But like you've said earlier, I think that it's important that we start to name and shame a number of these our leaders, to let them know that, you know, the ones that are performing well, to encourage them, and the ones that are not performing well, to let them know that we can see them. It's just that shame is a currency that our leaders don't trade in.
It's a lot of reactions on that story, by the way. So many that we couldn't take, and I can say they are not TV friendly because Nigerians were really not happy. As they shouldn't be. Yeah, and some went ahead to bring out the videos of people looting and saying, look at what you're doing. The government of this, they can be, in some cases, they can be very insensitive. There are certain things you can't do, first of all. And even you can't do, like, the people should not think that you're doing it. And it coming to the public is just a way of insulting people and letting them know that you're not really prioritizing their well-being. But it is what it is. We will continue to demand for good governance, call out bad behavior, and applaud great behavior when we see it. Joe, thank you for bringing us what Nigerians are saying. Oh, that's what they're saying.
Amen. Anyway, you also can let us know what Nigerians are saying.
Absolutely.
Or you can be a part of the conversation. Go on social media and tweet. You can tweet at News Central if there are key stories you'd like us to take. Or you can tweet at us individually, and we guarantee you that we'll bring those tweets here on TV. And this is where we call it a day. It's been a great time. Thank you very much for joining us. We're coming gradually to the end of the week. It's one more day before it's officially the weekend. But thank you so much for joining us. As we wrap up, let's share what's happening later today, right?
Yeah, so later today, let's tell you that later on today, On News Central, 10 a.m. Jasiri, the ladies will be here to talk about a very interesting topic. Don't miss it.
Very hot topics there. And at 11 a.m. West African time, we bring you Business Edge. At 7 p.m. West African time, Politics HQ is our conversation.
Time to be a lawmaker in Kebbi because, of course, you'll be cruising steadily on your brand new ride.
Maybe that's what Whiskey thought about when he said, if you see
For
me
me,
drive by...
I'll be walking away steadily. With no ride.
If you
right?
see them drive by, holla at your lawmakers. Anyway, we'll be right back again tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. I am Olive Emodi.
And I'm Joe Hansen. Good morning.
Au revoir.